We are expecting Neeraj Upmanyu Dr. Neeraj Upmanyu in this session as chair. Yes, so it is start time. Namaste, everyone. It's my pleasure to welcome you back to the 9th Online International Conference on Universal Human Values in Higher Education. When we visualize a humane society, it comes as an undivided society where the people are interacting in mutually fulfilling manner for their participation in universal human order. That is an orderly system applicable throughout the earth to the whole globe. This session on education for harmony in the society, from family order to world family order, will take us on a journey of understanding how harmony in the family, which is the building block of the society, can be a foundation for harmony in world family too. Today, we are privileged to have with us a speaker whose expertise and vision perfectly align with this topic. Let me briefly introduce him. Dr. Kumar Sambhavji. He is PhD in Mechanical Engineering from IIT Kanpur and presently head of the department at UP Institute of Design, Noida. He is also bearing responsibility of Associate Dean, Value Education, AKTU Lucknow. He has been involved with activities on value education since 2001. He is a resource person for basic and advanced level workshops and faculty development programs on universal human values for past 12 years. He is one of the contributors to the textbook, a foundation course in human values and professional ethics. We welcome you, Kumar Bhaiya, and we are expecting Professor Dr. Neeraj Upmanyu Pro Vice Chancellor, in charge Vice Chancellor from Bhopal. He is member of International Pharmaceutical Federation, life member APTI, IPD, SSIRT. He is ex-member ECPCI New Delhi to chair the session. So he is expected very soon, probably he'll join. Kumar Bhaiya, over to you for your address, please.
Thank you, Didi. So we just had a keynote lecture on understanding human being and human-human relationship. Now we are going to discuss about harmony in the society. I hope I'm properly audible. My voice is reaching clearly.
Dear Bhaiya, little faint, if possible, be little louder.
Okay.
Ji.
Now, is that fine now?
Yeah, it is okay. Okay.
Please let me know. If I have to be louder, then I'll change my setup somewhat. How about now? How about now?
Yeah, it is better, Bhaiya. Please
Okay.
continue.
Yeah. So we'll talk about harmony in the society now, from family order to world family order. We'll see what could be the meaning of a humane society. So what is society and where are we today? So there are three possibilities. Families living together in a relationship of mutual fulfillment, that is having a common goal. Another possibility is people living together but not in a relationship of mutual fulfillment, having differing goals. And the third possibility is people living separately in a position or struggle, having conflicting goals. So, what kind of society is naturally acceptable to us? First one, second one, or third one? What do you say? First one. So, the first one we can term as a society. The second one is a crowd. We are living together, but there is no relationship. And the third one is a battlefield, isn't it? So, we can make an appraisal of the current state of society, whether we are living really in a society or we have become a part of the crowd or become some instrument for the battlefield. So, we'll explore harmony in the society. The base of harmony in society is harmony in family, for which the base is harmony in the human being. So, in the first keynote lecture, we saw how right understanding, relationship, and physical facility are the three basic requirements to ensure a happy and prosperous life in continuity with the correct priority. With that, we started exploring right understanding at various levels of living. So, we explored about human being, we explored about human-human relationship in the previous session, where we discussed the feeling of trust and respect. Now, with that as the base, we'll try to explore the understanding of harmony in society. So, we saw that family is the basic unit or building block of human organization. The society is the next larger order. Society is composed of many families living together, making collective efforts for the common goal. So, we'll explore goal of human being living in society. So, can we have a common goal? As earlier I was asking that, can happiness be the same for all? Similarly, let me ask that when we are living in a society, can we have the common goal? Can the goal be the same for all? What do you see? Is it possible that everyone living in a society has a similar goal? We all are aspiring for the same goal. And if yes, then what could be that goal? If we tend to assume that no, people are going to have conflicting goals, then certainly we'll never have orderliness in the society. We'll never have harmony in the society. So at the very basic level, we have to explore what could be the common goal living in a society. Once we have the clarity about this, then we can look for the societal systems which will be required to fulfill the achieve the common goal, and then we can look for the scope of the systems. So let us see what could be the common goal, which can be termed as the human goal at a societal level. So as you are exploring that, each one of us wants to have happiness in continuity, isn't it? So we want every human being to be happy living in a society, and that would mean let every human being have the right understanding and right feeling, because you could see that the source of happiness is right understanding and right feeling. So when we plan something or when we try to envisage a human society, then at an individual level, we need to have a program to ensure right understanding and right feeling, which ensures happiness in every individual. Similarly, we would like to have health in every individual. So let every human being be healthy. At the level of family, we would like to have prosperity. So in a family, we have small children, we have old age people, we have young people taking part in production activities, and together they are able to fulfill their needs so that there is prosperity in every family. At the level of society, you would like to have fearlessness that would emanate from the feeling of trust, ensuring justice in all the relationships. And at the level of nature, we want to have coexistence, that is mutual enrichment with the rest of nature. So it's not only the human being that matters to us. We are, of course, very basically connected to soil, air, water, plants, trees, birds, and animals. And we'd like to be fulfilling to each of these. So we would like to enrich them. So this is also another common goal when we are living in a society. So at the base, I feel happy fulfilling the common goal. And when I go to ensure this happiness in continuity, then I have to work for my participation at every level of my living, right from individual to the entire existence. So let us find out whether this is naturally acceptable to us or not. So maybe we can take a minute or so and try to see that this is all that we aspire, because we have so many goals that we have been working for. Okay, we want, maybe we are working for making our country the richest country in the world. Maybe we are trying to have our GDP rising by 20% every year. So we may be setting so many goals. right? Maybe, I'm just saying maybe, it could be any country. But are we really clear that this could be the goal for our country? This could be the goal of our society, or what is shared here would be the goal? Can we have some reflection here? Maybe you can reflect in the chat box, or you can raise your hand and share your view. You can have your reflections here. So
You are
find it
requested.
out.
Please go
Yeah,
ahead.
there is some reflection, Didi.
Not yet, Bhaiya.
Not okay, fine. So we can see at the level of natural acceptance that this is what we basically aspire for, right? But when we make an appraisal of the current state of society, we see an inhuman society, either as a crowd or as a battlefield. And there is effort for different or conflicting goals here. So, in place of ensuring right understanding, right feeling in every individual, we can see that people are conditioned in multiple ways. There are so many assumptions at the level of individual. For example, money is everything. This has become a very common notion among the individuals. When we workshop for students, maybe we have in SIP at some like some colleges would be organizing some uh, session for all the new entrants in the institution, and we have to address the masses. So I ask one common question to the students that do you want to be happy or not? Everybody says yes. Then I also ask them, do you want to be a billionaire or not? Then every student will say yes. Then I ask them, are you sure that after becoming a billionaire, you are going to have a happy life in continuity? Right? Then nobody says yes. Then I ask them, then why do you aspire to become a billionaire? And then they start laughing. So somehow our students, our society has tended to assume that money is everything, money is the most important thing in life. Though a little bit of exploration shows that this is not the case, isn't it? So in most of the individuals, this kind of notion has got into, and that's why we can see so much of corruption, so much of malpractice in the society. Then, in place of ensuring prosperity in every family, we are into indulgence. In place of ensuring health in every individual, we are into indulgence, malnutrition, diseases. All these have become a common scenario. Just few years back, we could see that pandemic was there, and so many people died during the pandemic, isn't it? So we do not actually have the right understanding of health, and that's why the expenses to be incurred on curing diseases is going up day by day in every family. So in most of the individuals, we can see that this kind of trend is there, indulgence is there, malnutrition is there, diseases are there. Again, in place of ensuring prosperity in every family, people are into accumulating by all sorts of means, okay, without ever being able to make out how much money or physical facility they require, right? People are into accumulation. And that's why we can say unscrupulous practices coming up in the society. And that also, not every individual is going to be accumulating to that limit. And as it was being discussed, that if you look at the society today, the gap between the haves and have-nots is on the rise. It is also being said, like in our country, that the difference that used to exist before independence, the gap is now much wider now. So on one hand, there is so much of wealth in society, but on the other hand, only few individuals are having so much of wealth, and the gap between the haves and have-nots is on the rise. The rich and poor divide is there. Similarly, at the level of society, we can see that in place of ensuring fearlessness, like there is exploitation, there is injustice, there is fear. Now, with the technology getting more and more sophisticated and advanced, new kinds of fears are coming up, isn't it? With the use of AI, now the people are afraid of so many things. Now, so many fake calls are coming, and people are saying that they can be driven by AI. Even if your relative is calling, you have a doubt whether it is truly your relative or some voice is being faked. So that kind of fear is there, which we could not imagine 10 years back. So we can see how the fear is on the rise of inhuman conduct in the society. And then we can see that in place of ensuring mutual enrichment in the nature, we are trying to master over the nature. We are trying to exploit the nature, right? And that's how we can see so many global menaces, global threats coming up: pollution, resource depletion, uh, global warming, uh, so many things. Now, out of all this, if you see, since the right understanding and right feeling is missing, so we can see obsession in the individual, obsession for consumption, obsession for profit, obsession for sensual pleasure. Let me consume as much as I can. Let me make profit by all sorts of means. And if the happiness is not ensured within, then people go for sensual pleasures. They are also without being able to make out the limit to it. So it has become a kind of obsession. And now the market may also be driving this kind of obsession. The rich and poor divide is on the rise. And we can see terrorism and war. And the wars are becoming more and more destructive. Now, so many nations are having nuclear weapons. And even if a nation uses a nuclear weapon upon itself, right, one part of the earth is going to get damaged, vanished. So the wars are becoming more and more destructive. We can just see that for the past 4 years, so many nations are at war and it is not coming to a halt. It is just going on. Trillions of dollars might have got wasted away in this manner, which will be enough to feed so many people on the planet. And then resource depletion and pollution is also there. So we can see the pathetic state of the society vis-a-vis the common goal that we aspire for. So what to do about it? When you look at the Sustainable Development Goals, the UN is concerned about the state of society, of course, and the SDGs are an articulation of an attempt to address these concerns. The root cause of all these concerns boils down to lack of right understanding. To address these concerns at the root, human beings have to understand the human being, they have to understand the existence, and they have to understand the human value, that's the participation, the role of human being in this existence. So if you look at the program of uh, courses of human values, we are trying to address these three realities. So how to understand a human being, how to understand the existence, and how to understand the role of human being in the entire existence. And if I'm clear about all this, you'll see that fulfillment of the sustainable development goals comes as a natural outcome. As we were discussing in the previous session, that we talk about poverty, but the basic issue is not poverty. The basic issue is the lack of feeling of prosperity. When I do not feel prosperous, I exploit the other. When I feel prosperous, I share with the other. I nurture the other. Now that sense of nurturing is coming down, even though the wealth is going up. And that's why the poverty is also on the rise, isn't it? Similarly, we talked about gender equality or equality among different sections of society. So if the feeling of respect is there, then only this kind of problem will get sorted. So at the core, we have to understand the human being, the existence, and the participation of human being in the entire existence. I hope we are all able to see this. If any question or some concern is there, I can take up. So let me again reiterate that this is a dialogue that is taking place between me and you, though we are connected online. So I'm sharing certain things from my side. And I'll say that this is a proposal and not the proposal. So it is open for exploration. And we can all reflect on what is being shared here, take it as a proposal. The point is not agreeing or disagreeing. The point is to explore the reality as it is. So these are the 5 common human goals. Now, how to fulfill them? Yeah. So first of all, let us set the priority. If I'm going to fulfill them, then I have to set the right priority. So the first one would be right understanding and right feeling the individual, because ultimately it is individual who makes the society, individual who makes the family. So if the individual has definite conduct, if the individual has right understanding, right, then the family and the society are also going to get into order. So to ensure right understanding and right feeling in every individual, we need to have the right education sanskar. So there would be a need for societal system in a human society. So we need education sanskar. Then to ensure health in every individual, we need the program for health and self-regulation. Then to ensure prosperity in every family, we need to produce physical facilities more than what we require. So as we saw in the previous session, that we require physical facility for 3 purposes. First of all, it is required only for the body, not the self. Let us be very clear about that. The more we contemplate upon this, we are able to have a better clarity of the need for physical facility. Second thing, for the body also it is required for only three purposes: for nurturing the body, for protecting the body, and for rightly utilizing the body. And it is limited for all these three purposes. Now, when I have this clarity, then I have to produce the physical facility for which I have to do labor on the rest of nature, isn't it? So we require food, for that we have to produce food. We require clothes, we have to produce clothes. We require shelter, we require instruments, gadgets, vehicles, all that has to be produced. So there would be one dimension of society which fulfills the need for physical facility, and in turn, we are able to ensure prosperity in every family. And then ensuring happiness and prosperity and health, we are able to work for fearlessness and coexistence. And for that, we need to work for justice and preservation. We need to work for exchange and storage. So, to ensure justice in the society, we have to have a system, right? And we'll see how the system can be proactive. In fact, with the understanding of the common human goal, you'll see that our notion of working of all the systems gets transformed. So, for example, education is not skill development merely. Education is developing the right understanding, right feeling, and with that understanding at the base, we are going to train the students for skills. The program for health is not for curing diseases, essentially. It is meant for ensuring the feeling of self-regulation among the individuals. When you go to produce, it's not that we have to produce to capture the market. No, we have to fulfill the needs of the society, isn't it? Similarly, justice, the system of justice is not aimed at fighting injustice, but rather to ensure the feeling of trust, respect, affection in every individual, the feeling of love in every individual. Similarly, like when we are able to see the relationship with the rest of nature, we are able to make the right program for preservation so that the nature is enriched, nature is protected, nature is rightly utilized. Then not every family is going to produce everything by itself. So we need to have exchange, but the exchange would not be meant for maximizing profit. Rather, it would be meant for fulfilling the needs of every individual. And then storage means when we produce more than what is required, because there would be times when we're not producing and we have to consume, right? So we can store for those moments. So we need these five systems in a society to fulfill the common human goal. So let us look at this and suggest if there is something which is missing here. Then we can also list it up if there is something like that. Else we can try to see how the societal systems get mapped to the common human goal. So these are the five common goals and these are the five systems. And then we have to make the right program for that, isn't it? Now, if I have to ensure right understanding and right feeling in every individual, then we have to work for education sanskar. So education essentially is to develop the right understanding of the harmony at all levels of being, from self to the entire existence, which includes individual, family, society, nature, existence. So this has to be clear to the academia that right from primary education to higher education, we have to work for developing the right understanding at the core. And let me say that if we work for ensuring right understanding among the students, then the students will take the responsibility of learning skills by themselves. Today, the way we have to pressurize the students to come to the class, to avoid cheating in the examinations, okay, to avoid malpractices in academics, like we have so many software to check whether it is plagiarism or their own work, isn't it? All those things will be least required if we are able to develop the right understanding, because the child is able to see how this academics is going to ensure happiness. Presently, we are very, I'll say, circuitous or indirect route. So the student thinks that, okay, I am studying because this will fetch me a job. The job will fetch me a package. The package will fetch me happiness. And there are so many question marks there, isn't it? We are not able to relate our academics directly to our happiness. And given all this, then there are so many questions to respond to. I may get a job, I may get a good package, but how will I get related or keep myself related to my parents? Because for this job, I have to move out of my family, and then how will I take care of my parents, old parents? How will other things get taken care of? So they do not have that all-encompassing resolution. They do not have that holistic vision. Now, if we start inculcating the right understanding from the beginning, then they will have that kind of vision. And let me say, and we have experimented this and found this happening, that if you try to ensure this process of exploration, even the students can run the institution. The students can take so much of responsibility, okay, because they become self-organized, they become self-responsible. Our task would be to facilitate and not to dominate or dictate, isn't it? So this kind of possibility is there when we are able to ensure education in true sense of the word. Now, when we have this education in place, then what follows is the sanskar. So based on the understanding, the student develop the commitment, the preparation, and the practice of living in harmony. The preparation includes learning the skills and technology for living in harmony at all institutions, at all levels. Sorry, from self to the entire existence, which includes the individual, the family, the society, the nature, and the existence. So sanskar includes three things: the commitment. So when I have the feeling contemplated in me, then I naturally get commitment to live accordingly. Then I prepare myself. For that, I learn skills, and then I practice also. Okay, so that I'm able to live accordingly. So this naturally follows education. So education is developing right understanding. Sanskar is the commitment or the preparation and the practice for right living. And the preparation includes learning right skills and technology and their practice. So the development of the competence to live with definite human conduct, where we are able to ensure self-discipline moving from discipline. So let me say that there is a poll here and we can respond to the poll. So this is for the delegates and they can respond to this poll. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Ye-
Dr. Sambhav,
Yes.
one question is here from Yashoda Krishnaji, Dean, Kenya. So, Yashoda ji, mic is there with you. You can unmute and ask your question, please.
Yes, Dr. Yashoda, we were in touch yesterday in the panel discussion also in this
Ji,
law. Yeah.
welcome, Yashoda ji.
Hi, sir. It is nice presentation. I'm going through it. Can you please enlighten what are the activities that produce harmony in society?
So these are the five activities, the five dimensions that we are talking about, no? So education programs, health programs, production activities, program for justice and preservation, program for exchange and storage. So these are the activities to be taken up,
Okay, thank you.
and they have to be taken up in the right sense. Yes.
Can you enlighten something about fearlessness and the justice, which is very much needed in the uh, nowadays?
Yeah, I'll come to that. In fact, after having discussed education and health, I'll come to justice. I'll discuss it.
Okay, okay, thank you, thank you.
So the development of the competence, if you see, it includes three things. One is right understanding. That is wisdom or clarity about what to do as a human being in oneself, in our family, in our society, in our nation. So I need to have the right understanding of all that exists and see my role there. So what is my role in my family? So as we have been mentioning, that value is participation in the larger order. So when I go back to my family, does my family feel happy or unhappy? If the family feels happy, I'm valuable. If the family feels unhappy, I'm not valuable to the family. When I'm living in my society, right, and I'm contributing to the well-being of the society, I'm valuable in the society, else I'm not. So this right understanding has to be ensured with the contemplation of the values. Then right feeling has to be ensured, the capacity to live in relationship with other human beings, in family, in society. With that, the right skills for prosperity, the capacity to identify the need of physical facility, the skills and practice for sustainable production of more than what is required by way of labor using cyclic and mutually enriching processes, and then the feeling of prosperity. So as it was being mentioned in the keynote lecture yesterday also, so this is what is essentially required to be inculcated through education. But if you look at the current state of education, we can see that the students are not able to identify the need for physical facility rightly. In fact, in place of learning the right skills and practicing for sustainable production, okay, they are trying to learn some techniques by which they can get wealthy overnight, isn't it? So the sense of doing labor is somewhat missing, and the use of cyclic or mutual enriching process is also missing. And oh, primarily the goal that remains is that we have to have a handsome package through our job, and if possible, lower. So this kind of trend is there. But yes, with right education in place, we are able to ensure these three, so that the students naturally feel prosperous after having done labor to fulfill the needs of the body. So when we try to set these goals, then we can acknowledge certain common graduate attributes. So what would be the graduate attributes? Now in the current curricula also, if you see, we have, for example, engineering, if you talk about BTech, we have 12 program outcomes, right? And out of the 12 program outcomes, it's nice to see that only 5 outcomes pertain directly to the engineering skills, right? But we have certain outcomes which are related to the values. For example, there is one outcome like the engineering and society, how the engineer interacts with the society, about ethics, about lifelong learning. So some outcomes are there. Now, I'll say that if we go by right understanding and right feeling, then we may set certain graduate attributes. We can look into this. It is just as a proposal for you to investigate and explore. So the student can have a holistic vision of life. So presently the vision might be limited only to getting a good job, a good package, okay, a good place to live. Maybe if I'm living in a rural area, let me go to some urban area. If I'm living in an urban area, let me go to a metro. If I'm living in a metro, let me go to some foreign country. It may be like that. But presently, if you make a propose, if you make an appraisal, it appears like this. But in place of that, the students can have a holistic vision of life so that they are able to understand the broader purpose and goals. Secondly, social responsibility, acting in ways that benefit society. Thirdly, environmental responsibility, engaging in work that respects and protects the nature. And of course, ensuring prosperity by this. I'm not saying that let us talk about something which just appears as a kind of dream. No, I'm saying that these are very much doable, only that we have to have the right program. So, can I make my family prosperous utilizing some production practices which are enriching the nature also? There's so many examples on YouTube also. You can see that so many people have initiated so many activities which are enriching the nature also and fulfilling the needs of the family also. And those models have to be talked about, those models have to be discussed. Then ethical human conduct. Okay. So after going through education, the conduct of the student needs to be dependable. It needs to be definite. So making moral and ethical decisions. Then ensuring health and hygiene. So that awareness has to be there. Maintaining well-being and cleanliness. Then respect for excellence and gratitude for all. So recognizing the value of merit and the importance of gratitude. So this could be the underlying graduate attribute or underlying program outcome. With that, the student can opt for any skill, be it engineering, be it medicine, be it pharmacy, be it law, whatever. What do you feel? Can I have some reflection on this? The common graduate attributes. If any reflection or any question is there, I may take up. Or else, what we can do, we can keep on exploring this, and then I can discuss it later. So this could be the common graduate attributes. Now, I think someone will have to again remove the poll. So there is a poll here, and we can reflect upon that.
In fact, Dr. Puneet Sandhuji is saying that very rightly said that most institutions or businesses are to meet the demands of society. However, today most endeavors are linked with profits and market trends.
Yes. So you have to see, like, uh, one example I would like to share is that you can see that there is so much of startups and incubation today, but many of the startups are failing, and that is because they are going for becoming unicorns in a span of 1 or 2 years, and they are using malpractices, they are using unethical practices, because of which sometime back they were unicorns and now they are back to the ground. So they are falling to the ground. That is because there is a blind race for profit making using unethical practices. So this is a major concern. We also need to investigate why most of the startups are failing. So the trend is somewhat to be has to be looked into. Our students are going to that mad race for profit making without ever being clear. So many examples. I'll not name any startup, but there are so many examples to share, isn't it? And that is because the right vision, the comprehensive goal is missing. Yeah, so rightly said, sir. Yes, we have to look into those aspects. Now, how education takes place in an environment of relationship that we can see. So, if you look at a small child, the child starts by imitating the conduct of parents, the way they speak, the way they walk, the way they do their household chores, isn't it? So, the child starts by imitating. Now, as the child grows older, then it starts following. So it starts also adding one's imagination to it, analyzing how things are done. So, for example, if the mother is cooking in the kitchen, the child observes how mother makes the chapati, how mother cleans the dishes, how things are kept at home, and then the child starts following that. Now comes a phase where the child is able to get the meaning of the words correctly and is able to obey what is being said, and the child enters into a phase of discipline. Now, if the conduct of the parents has been right throughout, then the child enters a phase of self discipline. So, the child is initially in the family, right? If the parents have the right understanding and right feeling, they have definite conduct, then by imitation, following, obedience, and discipline, the child enters into this self discipline. When the child goes to the school, he is able to see the same kind of environment in the school also, and uh, observing the conduct of the teachers, the things get further enforced. So this is the natural development of a child, going from imitation to following to obedience or discipline, and then through self-verification, ensuring that definite conduct and entering into a stage of self-discipline. Here, the child is able to grow into an adult having self-confidence, right? And that is by virtue of ensuring the right understanding, right feeling. And we see that every next generation is more developed here. The limit to which the parents could develop themselves in terms of right understanding, the children are able to explore further and better, and the next generation is further more developed. So there is more harmony within, there is harmony in the family, there is harmony in the society, there is harmony in nature and existence, and generation by generation we have a better state in the society if the development takes place in an environment of relationship where the previous generation is working for developing one's competence. I'm not saying that we are going to ensure this kind of understanding in a span of these many years. We are not calculating those years, but I'm just saying that if we parents, though we are grown-ups, start working for right understanding, our children would observe how our conduct is getting transformed. These are common feedback from the children. When the parents come to the workshop, then the children are able to observe a shift in their behavior, a shift in their conduct, isn't it? So that would be observed, and then the children would grow in a better atmosphere, better environment. So this is there when the environment is of relationship. But on the contrary, if there is domination, if the parents do not have the right understanding, right feeling, they are dominating over the children. Okay, they are using uh, unethical means for fulfilling the needs in the family, and they are not having the right conduct with the rest of the society. Then what would happen? The child will imitate again, because the child has to start by imitation. But what it is imitating? The inhuman conduct. And then the child analyzes how these people are managing things with inhuman conduct. So it starts following that inhuman conduct. Then parents give orders to the children, they obey, okay, and they go by the ways of the parents. That is something that can be observed up to let's say, early part of the teenage. But the child has been verifying throughout. So the child is able to see that my parents do not have the right conduct. They have indefinite conduct. And when the children observe this, then they look towards the school. And they find that in the school, a similar thing is being observed. In the school also, the teachers are dominating. The teachers are not having harmony in their own relationships. Okay, they are struggling with each other, competing with each other, fighting uh, with others. So what to do then? So on one hand, they are imitating, they are following, they are obeying them, but on the other hand, they are developing opposition for them. Then the only source remains, and that is friends. So the children, after will say when they enter the stage of adolescence, they will start sharing their problems in the family, right, in the school, in the environment outside with their peer group, with the friends, and they are able to see that what is happening is wrong. So on one hand, the elders are dominating over them. On the other hand, they are discarding them, their conduct. So now comes a phase of arbitrariness. So they feel that whatever we do is the right thing. Will not obey them. Will not go by them. My life is my choice, right? So I'm going to decide everything for myself. And then there is opposition in the family because the parents will say that we are feeding you, we are providing for you. You have to go my way, and the children have opposition for them. So gradually it becomes a kind of revolt in the family. And let's say if it grows further, the child gets a job, the child has a family of one's own, then it will grow into a struggle, and it's a warlike situation in the family. If you try to observe in your own family, if you try to observe in the families around, you find something similar happening. That is because neither we have been able to set the education right, nor we have been able to set the conducive atmosphere in the society around. And that's why this kind of scenario is a common sight. So every next generation may be less developed, in more contradiction within, in more opposition with the family, more struggle in the society, more conflict with the nature. And this is something that we see when the children grow into adults. Okay, they are having conduct which was being discussed earlier, and having wrong notions within, destroying their health, struggling with people, dominating, and getting indulged into war and all those things. Why is that happening? Because ultimately, at the root, in the family, they did not get the right kind of education from the parents. They did not get the right kind of education in the schools or the colleges or the university. And now we are blaming them. We are saying that, see, these millennials have become a problem for us. Okay, these students are turning into kind of Frankenstein for the society. Right? Why is that happening? Ultimately, we have to look into the root cause. Why is that happening at all? So there are two possibilities. One is development takes place in an environment of relationship. The other possibility is development takes place in environment domination. Now verify for yourself which one is naturally acceptable to you and what are we doing today. So good thing is that we have commonly observed that once people like the parents or the teachers come to the workshop, they are able to see this, that yes, what is naturally acceptable is something on the left hand side, but what we might be doing something on the right hand side. And there's a definite transformation in their conduct towards the children. The domination comes down, particularly if you if the parents have been hitting the children in the houses, then that hitting also comes down. So those kinds of conduct, of course, get evaluated. So there are two possibilities, and we have to see what is naturally acceptable to us. So of course, the naturally acceptable thing is something on the left hand side, and we feel happy being together. But what we might be doing is something on the right hand side, isn't it? And of course, this is going to happen initially when they are children. So we feel that okay, we'll dominate over them and they will obey. But once they start questioning our conduct, our living pattern, then we are in trouble. So we have to ensure this process of development in the family. We have to ensure this process in the school, in the college, in the university, and that's why this education is very important. We have to work proactively to develop the competence in our children. I hope you are able to see this. If there is any question regarding this, I can take up. Any question, any reflection from the participants in the webinar here?
Yeah, Balbir Singh ji, Dean Katra Shri Mata Vaishno Devi, he's here. So Balbir ji, if you want to share something.
नमस्कार सर। सर मैं ये पूछना चाहता हूँ कि स्पेशली जो अडल्ट बच्चे हैं तो उनका जो एक माइंड सेटअप बन गया है, तो अब जो माइंड सेटअप बन गया है बिकॉज ऑफ not conducive environment, there are many reasons are there. अब उसको that how to amend that, how to bring them to the normal stream, so it's a very challenging work is there now, how to start in that. This is one question. A second thing, in the especially in the universities, so what are the different activities we can do to have their mindset that is properly like what they are supposed to be have the under this so these like six attributes they can develop in that. So there are two questions are there.
Yeah, I'll couple both the questions and I'll say that the cure is right education. So presently we have been working in higher education, and we have been able to see that if you propose the content to the students rightly and develop the process of self exploration in them, the students are of course having that potential and they are able to very much observe on their own right. They are able to verify and they are able to also share their reflection. The good thing with working in the higher education is that even like the students have come to a stage where they are able to make decisions on their own,
Right, sir.
and they are no more dependent to that extent on their parents. The parents also feel that now they have to make the choices for them. So if the students are given the right proposal and the process is enabled rightly for exploration in them, we get into dialogue with them, then the students are able to explore much deeper and further. So this kind of possibilities, of course, there. Uh, and we have been experimenting with the students in various colleges, and we have been able to see this possibility. If you try to work with very small children to begin with, the children are under influence of their parents. So you'll see that if you try to work with the small children, you will also have to consult the parents. For example, if the parents are assuming that money is everything and you are talking to the children in some other manner, then the parents might feel opposed to you. But if you talk the right thing with grown-ups, like our students in the higher technical education institutions, so they are able to decide very much for themselves. They are able to verify rightly, they are able to explore deeply, and they are able to come up with the right conclusions. So working with the small children has its own limitations, and working with the grown-ups will have its own possibilities also. So you can
Right.
very much take this message forward to the students. I can see a huge possibility here. Only thing is that we have to keep in touch. It's not that you just teach something in classroom for a semester and then you forget. No, we have to feel related to the students. So that's why we thought that let us have interaction with the students in every year. In the first year, we are having the student induction program. In the second year, we are having the mandatory credit course. Then we have electives in the third and fourth year of the 4-year degree program. And even then, I'll say that we keep in touch with the alumni. For example, Dr. Agrawal was sharing today the way he has been keeping in touch with the alumni. So that kind of connect has to be established. And the change is going to take place for sure.
Right. Thank you, sir.
Nice, nice, sir.
Thank you, Balbir ji. Ji, Dr. Prashant, please come forward.
जी 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 Thank you, Dr. Kumar. Very nicely said. My problem is this: students are really they are taking whatever we are giving to them, particularly the children or the primary or the secondary. But when the teachers, those who are developing them, if they are not given the training, what is in that case? Because they are not knowing UHV. Please.
No, the second statement was not clear. Who are not finding UHV?
Teachers. If
Okay,
teachers
okay.
are not trained, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we need so much of faculty development programs because, and it was decided by AICT also that for every
जी
20 students, let at least one faculty get developed.
जी जी
So
yeah
the development of faculty is at the core.
yeah
And we
yeah
also decided that we will not run the workshops or the courses for the students directly. We'll develop the faculty and the faculty will be teaching the students.
Exactly, yeah. Because all these contents they are to be transformed through the teachers only. Then and then only
Yes.
students will learn, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, certainly. And you are also a teacher, isn't it? And you
Yeah.
came to the workshop.
Because that's why we are being connected now. That's why we are
Yes.
hearing this, listening. Thank you. Thank you. Very nice discussion. Thank you very much. Namaste. Ji. Fine.
Nice.
Thank you.
The second goal is health. And for health, we have to have a health system. So, in the health system, the priority is developing the feeling of self regulation. So, feeling of responsibility for nurturing, protecting, and rightly utilizing the body. This feeling has to be developed. And the health would be a natural outcome of that. So, health would mean that the body acts according to the self, and the parts of the body are in harmony, as we discussed in the previous session. And for that, we also have to recognize the need of the physical facility rightly. So, when I have the feeling of self regulation, there are two natural outcomes. One is health, and the other is the feeling of prosperity. So, our health system has to be such in which we counsel the people in general in the society so that they are able to have self regulation, what to eat, what not to eat, how not to eat, okay, how to nurture the body rightly, how to protect the body rightly. That kind of education has to be given. And that is, of course, going to be a part of the curriculum also. For example, in our engineering courses, do we have any course on health? This is something to be looked into, isn't it? Because if people are not having awareness about the right program for health, they are going to fear diseases. And that fear will again force them into accumulation, isn't it? So that education has to be ensured. So the health system has to focus primarily on self-regulation, and with that we can have systems for curing diseases, for medicine and treatment. So as we discussed in the previous session, that human being is coexistence of self and body. The needs are different for the self and the body. The needs have to be understood clearly and fulfilled rightly. So one observation about health we can share here. So the self is there, the body is there. With little bit of exploration, I can see that the body is material. I am consciousness, and this body is my instrument. The only interaction with the body that is taking place is in terms of information. So I'm sending some instruction to the body and receiving sensation from the body. For example, now also when I'm talking to you, I am sending some instruction to the body with which the body is able to speak. And through my eyes, I'm getting some sensation. Through my ears, I'm getting sensation with which I'm able to read the slide, I'm able to hear the sound. So this is the only transaction that is taking place with the body. My needs are happiness and prosperity, and that too in continuity. The needs of the body are physical facility. My needs and activities are continuous in time. The needs of the body are temporary in time. So, little bit of exploration will show that self is central to human existence. The body is for me. So, a very natural conclusion is that the physical facility is for the body, and the body is for me, and not the other way around. With lack of right understanding, we become instruments for physical facility. Are you able to see this? With right understanding, I'm able to see how physical facility is instrument for the body and the body is my instrument. So I get the feeling of self-regulation, right? I have the feeling of responsibility towards the body for nurturing the body, protecting the body, and rightly utilizing the body. Something that we had discussed earlier. And the natural outcome is health. So the body acts according to me, and the parts of the body are in harmony. So the health is a natural outcome of the feeling of self-regulation. So physical facility is required to fulfill the responsibility of the self towards the body, to keep the body in harmony, in good health. And there are three purposes of any physical facility. Either it is for nurturing the body or protecting the body and rightly utilizing the body. So these are the three purposes. And we can see that the required physical facility can be very much identified with this clarity. So one task from this exercise could be like when we look at the facility in the house next day, Let us try to make out what is the purpose of the facility in the house. Is it nurturing my body? Is it protecting my body? Is it right utilizing my body? Or is it something otherwise? So that will give us a clarity that maybe we have more than what is required. We keep on sharing one common exercise also, that count the number of clothes and see whether you have enough or not. So on one hand, with the feeling of self-regulation, we get the feeling of prosperity, and on the other hand, we are able to ensure health in the body. So we can see that, for nurturing, food is required, for protecting, clothes and shelter is required, and for rightly utilizing, instruments are required. The required physical facility can be recognized with the required quantity. So try to make out the quantity of food that is required for nurturing the body. Is it limited or unlimited? You can respond in the chat box also. What do you feel? Yes or no? Limited or unlimited? The quantity of food that is required.
The delegates are responding like limited.
The clothes and shelter that we require for protecting the body, is it limited or unlimited? Similarly, the instruments that we require for utilizing the body, is it limited or unlimited? So we can get a clarity about the need for physical facility from here. So we also talked about the program for health, and I'll not elaborate upon it. We talked about it at length. So without complete understanding, can we ensure mental health? Can we ensure health of the body? Try to make out. So presently, our health systems have got focused on medicine and treatment. And how about the health of environment? Just try to see if people are not happy within, they will have problems of anxiety, depression, frustration, anger. And with that, of course, the body is going to suffer. So that mental health is very much important. And our thoughts are also a food for the body, isn't it? So we have to ensure happiness within, then we have to ensure health of the body. So presently, if you look at early detection of the diseases, the tests to be conducted, okay, and the sophisticated ways of treatment, and we are not talking at all about the health of the environment. But with complete understanding, we talk about health of the self, health of the body, and health of the environment. And the environment includes the family, society, and nature. So good health and well-being, which is a sustainable development goal, gets naturally addressed through this kind of program. Then we can have some observation about prosperity. So we can very much see that with this feeling of self-regulation, the need for nurturing the body, protecting the body, and rightly utilizing the body is limited in quantity. So we can see that physical facility is required to keep the body in good health, so that right utilization of the body can be ensured. Required for only these three purposes, and if you can see that the physical facility for nurturing, protection, and right place on the body is required in limited quantity, then we can naturally understand the meaning of prosperity, something that we had discussed earlier also. So prosperity is a feeling, and prosperity is different from wealth. Let me say that, for example, maybe my salary is 50,000 per month, and I feel that my need uh, in my family is, let's say, 40,000 per month. Then I feel prosperous. But if I am earning 1 lakh per month and I feel that the need is 1.5 lakh, I do not feel prosperous. So prosperity is not directly to do with the amount of money that I need. Okay, it is the availability over my requirement. So if I'm not able to make my assessment of requirement rightly, then I'm not going to be prosperous. So prosperity is the feeling of having or producing more than required physical facility. And here we'll see that the requirement is the first priority, making out the requirement and then making it available. So identification of required physical facility, including the required quantity with right understanding, comes at the first priority, followed by ensuring availability or production of more than what is required with the right kind of skills. If I feel prosperous, I think of right utilization, I think of nurturing the other. But if I feel deprived, I feel like accumulating, I feel like exploiting the other. So whether I feel prosperous or not, so if I have to make an appraisal of the society, we can evaluate how people treat others. So are they trying to share with the other, nurture the other, or they are trying to exploit the other? So I may be a millionaire, but if I am working to exploit the rest of society, I'm feeling deprived within, isn't it? If I'm working to nurture the society, then only I'm having the feeling of prosperity within. So the question is not becoming a millionaire or billionaire. The question is of becoming prosperous, isn't it? The gross misunderstanding is that human being is the body. And the moment I assume that I am the body, then I start fulfilling the need of the self through physical facility, right? Like food, clothes, or shelter. For example, if I'm consuming food also, it could have three purposes. Am I consuming food to keep my body healthy? Or am I consuming food for taste, for sensation? Or am I consuming food for show off? If I consume food for ensuring health of the body, I can very much make out how much food is required and how much I have to pay for that. But if I go for food for show off or sensation, it is very difficult to make out. So if I associate food to respect, okay, I will have food in that particular restaurant, paying that much of bill, and I'll then show off on the Facebook or social media, right? Then what kind of bill will get so much of attraction can never be decided. So what we generally are in our life is that we try to associate respect to food, to clothes, to instruments, to gadgets, and then we try to fulfill something which is continuous by something which is temporary. So how to make it continuous? So accumulate more and more, consume more and more, and the need which was limited for the body appears to be unlimited, isn't it? We get news of corruption where one person has been found having 1,000 houses. Difficult to imagine also. Yes, one person was caught on the charge of corruption here who was owning 1,000 houses. So you can see what kind of deprivation the person is having. So we get caught up in a vicious cycle this way.
Sir, excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, one question is there, especially with the feeling of a prosperity while discussing with the student. So, how to convince them since they are not earning right now? And if we talk with the person who is earning, then definitely it's a very easy to digest things of feeling of prosperity. So, how to convince them to have the feeling of prosperity like earning or that is a more than what it is required?
First of all, it is not the point of convincing them. And I'll just say that if you make the course a process of self-exploration, the students are naturally able to see this. And I have our students sitting here, and they are into this process, and they are very much able to see that yes, the need for physical facility is limited. So only that you have to make the classroom a place for open dialogue, open discussion. Let the students share their concerns, their fears, their priorities, and let us discuss that openly with them, how this proposal resolves them. So the point is not of convincing that the need for physical facility is limited. The point is to see how it is limited.
Right. Thank you.
Nice, sir. So if we have this kind of wrong notion, then we go into accumulation of physical facility, assuming it to be unlimited, and then there is a sense of deprivation within. And then we get caught up in a loop. There's feeling of deprivation that I don't have enough. So what to do? I have to make more effort for physical facility by any means. And then we try to accumulate as much as possible, but still it is not unlimited. So what to do? Then again, I have a feeling of deprivation. There is a video of story of stuff. We keep on showing this video in our classroom and to the participant in the workshop also. Just have a look at it. It shows how consumerism is on the rise, and on the other hand, a sense of relationship is going down. On the other hand, how people are destroying their health, people are destroying the rest of nature, people are exploiting the rest of society. So check if you are caught up in this loop. So earlier we were discussing that in the society we can see two kinds of people. One who are lacking physical facility and they are unhappy and deprived, and the other are those who are having physical facility but still unhappy and deprived. So without understanding prosperity, we keep working to increase physical facility, exploiting people, depleting nature, and the poverty remains with many side effects. Understanding the required physical facility, we have the clarity of prosperity, right? And we are able to fulfill this first goal, no poverty. In fact, in place of having the goal as no poverty, we can say prosperity for all, isn't it? Let every human being have more than what he or she requires. Increasing GDP alone is not sufficient. There has to be effort for understanding prosperity and making effort for it, and resources are more than sufficient for the prosperity of all. Many examples were given in the previous sessions also. I will not reiterate them. Now, next we can see like the goal of fearlessness, ensuring trust and justice. So how it is mapped to our program. So if you try to map all this, you can see how education sanskar is directly related to right understanding, right feeling in the individual. The program for self-regulation and health is related to health. Then the program for production and work is related to both health and prosperity. The program for justice is related to health, prosperity, as well as fearlessness, primarily with fearlessness. And the program for preservation is primarily related to mutual enrichment, but also related to prosperity. And we can see how exchange storage is related to prosperity, also related to partly justice, partly uh, this coexistence with the nature. So we can see that correlation and we can work for it. Now, one task to be accomplished is like, for example, we are having courses here, engineering, management, right, pharmacy, medicine. So in these courses, we can try to see what dimension of society is going to be addressed to this. So for example, an MBA student can see how he's going to participate in any dimension of society and how it is going to fulfill the human goal. So more details can be had in UHP2, where we have the course for human values and professional ethics in the second year. It is a mandatory course presently mandated by AICT, and many universities have also mandated it. Many universities have given 3 credits to it. In fact, I am thankful to AICT that when it came to assigning credits for this course, AICT decided that initially they had 160 credits in the model curriculum for engineering, and they added 3 more credits in the curriculum to make it happen. So a really nice initiative taken by AICT. So with this kind of
Dr.
understanding,
Sambhav,
yeah,
yeah, here is one reflection from Dr. Fadare from Nigeria. So can we have it?
sure.
Yeah, Dr. Fadare. Yeah, mic is there with you. Just unmute and say. Okay. He wrote actually message in text box.
Okay, you can read the message then.
Yeah. So
Hello.
he's writing like, hello, Dr. Kumar, thank you for your contribution to body of knowledge. The session has been insightful. However, the higher education ecosystem is a community in itself. I think talking about common qualities of graduates can't be conclusively ascertained without considering the impact of informal institutions, which exercises great education influence upon individuals, that is peer groups, families, religious communities, etc. We also unwritten curriculum into behavioral outcomes.
Yeah, so that's why we are talking about all the dimensions of society. So as we go along, we can see how the society gets organized in multiple steps. So the ecosystem around, if you look at it, ultimately it is made up of human beings. So if every child gets the opportunity to go through this humane education system, then the whole ecosystem will get transformed, isn't it? The good part is that now education has become commonly available to every child. So if you are able to make this effectively getting implemented in the educational institutions, so the whole ecosystem will transform. So yes, to begin with, it may appear as a challenge because you are teaching something in the classroom, but the environment outside may not be conducive to that. But at the same time, I'll say that education is such a strong tool that if I develop the understanding within me, I do not get influenced from any outside factor also. For example, if I were to see that the need for physical facility is limited, so whatever may be shown by the media outside, okay, I will not get influenced by it. I can see that on YouTube, whenever you open it, I find some person giving an advertisement. Why are you not a billionaire? The first question that he asks, and then he will keep on pushing for uh, attending a course so that you can become a billionaire, isn't it? So I will not get influenced by any such ad. If I'm able to see that I have enough number of clothes, I will not get influenced by the showrooms in the malls. So education is such a strong tool that if you uh, ensure that process of self-exploration in the student rightly, then the student will have self-confidence and not be influenced by any such factor outside.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar. One more question is from YouTube spectator. It's Infanta Priyaji asking how to mold such children creating nuisance, bhaiya.
So again, the way we were discussing earlier, that the natural acceptance is pure in the child. Okay, and as we saw here also, that if the children do not see the right conduct in the parents, so by imitating, by following, by obeying, they are not able to have human conduct. And I'll say that not only the conduct of parents, the conduct of the teachers is also very important here. So the child was innocent to begin with. Okay, since we did not give the right understanding, right feeling, we did not ensure the right sanskar in the child, so the child might have become a nuisance. And if you ask the child may say that we are a nuisance, isn't it? So we have to really make out, who is right and who is wrong. So I'll say that the child has begun his journey as an innocent child. We have to see how we can inculcate the right understanding in the child. In place of blaming the children or the next generation, we have to see how we can be responsible to them, how we can compliment them. They are looking for answers. Do we have the right answers? Nice. So with this clarity of human goal and the 5 dimensions of society, we can transform the society from the present state to the desired state. So presently at the level of individual, we can see how people are assuming physical facility to everything, and they are working for it in an in a manner which can never ensure prosperity or happiness. Okay, and that is something like an inhuman consciousness, and that is creating society which is inhuman. So we are caught up in this vicious cycle. But from here, we can move to a society where our students are having the right understanding and right feeling, and they're able to make out the need for physical facility rightly, so that they are able to ensure mutual happiness and mutual prosperity. And then they lay down the foundation of a human society fulfilling the human goal. So this kind of transformation is very much possible. So now we can look at a personal level. If I look at myself also, I can see how personal transformation is taking place in me and how I'm able to contribute to societal transformation. And this potential is there in each one of us. So there is another poll here. I think it is there on the screen. Someone may kindly respond to this.
Yes, until the delegates are responding to poll, the mic is there with you, Dr. Devendraji.
Yeah.
Yes.
Kumar sir,
Ji.
once again it is me. Kumar sir, I want to talk you apart from this. Uh, can you feel that the root cause from the nurturing of the childs from 8th onwards, 9 onwards, we are rushing towards IIT or NIT or triple IT. We are sending away the kids from the real parenting. We are investing them a lot of money with them, not and the entire society is running behind the higher goal and higher package. What you feel that it is somewhere they are expecting back from them and children are getting suicide or going, where you feel this? And this is not a small volume in the entire country. I'm talking particularly about India. Like IIT itself, they are not giving chances, means they are making them away from the schooling. So there are only two chances. So why don't you feel that our system itself, somewhere at the root, it is suppressing the human values? And one time we are talking about the fulfilling of SDGs. One time we are itself suppressing. What you feel about it?
So two things here. First of all, we are the system.
Yeah,
So we have to own the responsibility. Second thing, when we are working in the higher education, we are developing the parents of tomorrow, the teachers of tomorrow, the policy makers of tomorrow. And I'm sure that if our students are able to develop this understanding, then they are not going to coerce their children into this mad race. So they will have the clarity about happiness and prosperity, and they will inculcate the right values in the children so that they are able to make the right choices in life in place of entering into mad race. So of course the children need to be prosperous, and for that they have to make the right kind of program, isn't it? We can see like in places where coaching is prevalent too much. We keep on getting news of suicides among the students. There is so
exactly.
much of
This
mental
is my
anxiety and
point
pressure is
only.
there. Yeah, but that is because our parents themselves are not educated. That's why when you work in higher education, you are able to work in all dimensions, isn't it? So we have to
Yeah.
make value education in higher education more emphatic. Uh, I'll say, more qualitative, so that we are able to ensure this kind of development in our students.
Moreover, our authorities also should think that the pressure should not be the higher extent. The means 12th itself, they should not make it the count. So parents
Yes,
also
yes.
not, somewhere we don't find that parents are not well educated. They are well educated, but they are also behind the objective and their goal.
Yeah, so some students are sitting here. Let me ask them that will you force your children, into this mad race of competition or not? What do you think? Okay, there's some limitation of time, but yes, maybe visually also you can respond to this. But yes, mic is also there. So once you are going through this content, will you try to force your children to the mad race of competition, or will you try to make them feel prosperous and happy with right understanding? What do you think?
So it's obvious I'm saying no. They should do what they want.
Yeah.
They are coming from the same race exactly. So today they know what they face.
Yeah. So that's why, if you make this course effective in higher education, a lot of transformation will take place in all dimensions. Let me say, these are the
Exactly.
students who are going to be IS officers. These are the students who are going to be, going to run the companies, going to lead the society. Nice, sir.
Yeah, nice. Nice. Good. Actually,
So
the
once you are,
rules are the problem.
yeah. So once we have the clarity of the human goal and we are able to have the societal systems for a humane society, then there's a scope of expansion. So let's say if we have a family of 10 people, including three generations, and if a family has three generations, is very nice because the children get naturally taken care of by the old parents, and the old parents are taken care of by the young children. So let's say there is a family of 10 people, then we have a family cluster of 10 square people, 10 such families. Then going this progression in some steps, let's say 10 steps, we can have the world family order. So we can at least envisage a world of 1,000 crore people living harmoniously together, isn't it? And let me say that there is no dearth of resources. What is lacking is right understanding. So if we have this big mass of people working for development in true sense of the word, we'll have a faster development. So the problem is not a pollution, is a problem. The population is not a problem. The problem is lack of the right system of education, health, production, justice, and exchange. So this kind of scope is there of expansion from family order to world family order, ensuring a humane society. Nice. So let me sum it up. So a humane society is composed of families living together in a relationship of mutual fulfillment, working for a common human goal. And these are the five common human goals: right understanding and right feeling, ensuring happiness in every individual, health in every individual, both of the self as well as the body, prosperity in every family, fearlessness, that is trust and justice in society, and coexistence, that is mutual fulfillment, the nature of existence. The family is the basic unit in society. That is, society is composed of family, group of families, village family, group of village families, and so on, participating in the larger order toward a common human goal. Through the participation of every family in the society in the five social systems, the common human goal is fulfilled for all, from family order to world family order, generation after generation. The current civilization is largely based on the assumption that human being is merely the body. Happiness is derived from primarily sensual pleasure or feeling from the other, and hence accumulation of physical facility, domination, exploitation is at the core of the socio-economic systems. And with this kind of scenario, certainly we are not going to fulfill the sustainable development goals. Nice. So this was all from my side. Now I am open to questions further or reflections. Dr. Upasana.
Thank you, Dr. Sambhav, for your deeply insightful and thought-provoking address. Your perspectives on strengthening harmony in society, beginning with families and expanding to a global scale, resonate deeply with the core principles of this conference. Your vision has provided us with valuable frameworks for understanding how education can lead to a truly interconnected and harmonious world. Thank you so much, Dr. Sambhav. Now I request Professor Dr. Neeraj Upmanyuji, Pro Vice Chancellor in charge VC, to share his views on the session. Dr. Neeraj, you are most welcome.
Thank you, madam. First of all, my compliments to Dr. Kumar Sambhav sir for such an enlightening, thought-provoking approach. Uh, I think sir has talked a lot about health, prosperity, obsession, fear due to AI, students' irregularities, and there are a lot of things. Uh, Here, I would really appreciate sir's thought, and sir also talked about second goal, which was health in life, and how we can manage with health in life. One thing I would like to share here, sir has asked one question about you will eat less or limited or more. तो एक हिंदी में हमेशा हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा हुआ है, ज्यादा खाने से कोई नहीं मरा, वो कम खाने से कोई नहीं मरा, ज्यादा खाने से सभी मरे हैं. So this is always we talks about. As far as mental health is concerned, sir, I would say here that pollution is the problem. Whether it is a pollution of sanskar, whether it is a pollution of what we are eating. So there are a lot of factors which are involved, and this causes the main which you are talking about, whether it is a stress, whether it is a fear, or whether it is a mental health. So it is very much depend on that. And one more thing I would like to say here, we have a lot of things, but we have to create an ecosystem. If you see the previous 50 years back or 100 years back, the main pillar of the prosperity, whether in terms of health, whether in terms of normal life, they were having good ecosystem, which is nowadays lacking. If you want to implement anything, whether the ecosystem is ready to take it up. So, sir was correctly mentioning all these things in correct spirit, and I think until and unless we will not go back to our sanskar, we will not go back to our thought process, we would not adopt the correct, uh, you can say the correct path, we will always be in trouble. And as far as sir told about education, yes, I do agree with sir. Sir has given a lot of thought-provoking factors. We have to rethink in education. In education, when this COVID pandemic was also there. There was a very correct proverb which we always heard: learn, forget, and relearn. So we have to see that factor also. So I really compliment sir for this thought-provoking talk, and I hope this type of session should be there from sir, so that we can go in the correct path. Thank you, Pasna Mishra madam, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you so much, and thank you, AIC. Sir, I would like to ask one question from Kumar Sambhav sir. From where you get the energy?
So, like the self has energy, it has
Yes.
indestructible energy.
Yes.
Only that we have to take care of the body.
I really salute you, sir.
जी. Thank you, Neeraj sir. Thank you, Sambhav sir. Thank you everyone for your participation and reflections, which have added depth to today's discussion. This session has beautifully highlighted how education rooted in universal human values can serve as a bridge between harmony in individuals to harmony in society, from family order to world family order. Thank you for joining us, and I look forward to see you all in the upcoming sessions on the transformational journey of individuals and institutions practicing universal human values proposals that were shared in keynote addresses of the conference. Next session will start at 11:30 p.m. Indian time after a half an hour break from 11 to 11:30 p.m. Thank you everyone for joining the session. It was really nice interacting with all of you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you all. Namaste.
Thank you, madam. Namaskar. Jai Hind.